and works consistently. It honors boundaries. It values accountability. It respects difference. It breathes honesty. And above all, it chooses, not once, but daily. The myth says, love should be easy. Realism says, love should be true. And truth, while sometimes heavy, always frees. So, if you take nothing else with you, take this. Real love doesn't just feel good. It builds good, day by day, choice by choice, effort by effort. Take a slow breath in, exhale gently. Notice the steadiness of being here, facing love with clearer eyes. I've spoken to you about realism, about seeing without illusion, about choosing with freedom. But there is more to be uncovered, because not every bond is just misaligned. Some bonds are manipulative. Some are built on control. Some leave you doubting yourself, more than you ever should. And those patterns, they need breaking. At 6 p.m., Sophia Voss will meet you. Her voice is sharp, clear, unafraid. She will walk with you into the world of manipulation, how to spot it, how to name it, and most importantly, how to break free from it. Where I have shown you realism in love, she will show you liberation in truth. So carry this clarity forward. Take another deep breath, exhale the illusions, and step into the next hour, ready to see not only what love can be, but what it must never become. Too many of us step into relationships chasing illusions. We imagine that love will erase loneliness, heal old wounds, or fix what feels broken inside. We tell ourselves stories about soulmates and destiny, about someone arriving to make us whole. But here's the truth. When you put that kind of weight on love, you set yourself up for disappointment. No partner can be everything. No relationship can solve every ache. And when you expect perfection, you miss what's real. Because real love isn't flawless. It's messy. It bumps up against your insecurities. It forces you to face yourself in ways comfort never could. The danger of idealizing love is that it blinds you. It makes you ignore red flags. It makes you excuse harm. It keeps you stuck in fantasy instead of building something true. So the first step in realism is this. Drop the illusion. Let love be what it is. Not a cure, but a choice. Realism doesn't mean cynicism. It doesn't mean giving up on hope. It means learning to see clearly. To recognize that attraction and affection don't erase the need for boundaries. To understand that chemistry doesn't replace compatibility. To accept that even the best relationships require effort, repair, and compromise. When you see love clearly, you stop asking it to be magic. You start asking it to be mutual. You stop chasing someone to complete you. You start choosing someone who can walk beside you. This shift from illusion to realism does not make love colder. it makes love stronger. Because when you let go of fantasies, you finally make room for the real thing, a bond between two imperfect people, choosing each other, day by day. Love without illusion isn't smaller, it's deeper. And that depth is where relationships stop breaking you and start growing you. Let's be honest. Most of us have seen the red flags. The cutting remark brushed off as just a joke. The pattern of disappearing when you need them most. The refusal to take responsibility after hurting you. And yet, we tell ourselves stories. They didn't mean it. They'll change. I can handle it. Why? Because we want the fantasy more than the truth. Because facing the signs means facing the possibility that this relationship may not be safe, may not be sustainable. So we rationalize, we excuse, we ignore. But ignoring red flags doesn't make them vanish. It only delays the cost. Here's a mindset shift. Red flags are not curses. They are information. They don't always mean the relationship must end. But they do mean something needs attention. When someone raises their voice in anger, that is data. How often? How intense? Do they repair afterward? When a partner avoids accountability, that is data. Are they willing to grow? Or do they deflect and blame endlessly? Red flags tell you what you're dealing with. They invite you to ask, can I live with this? Does this align with the life I want to build? Treat them like road signs, a warning on the path ahead. You can slow down, choose another route, or decide this road isn't for you. But pretending the sign isn't there only guarantees collision. Self-respect means trusting your perception, believing what you see, not just what you wish to see. Because love without realism isn't love. It's denial. And denial will cost you far more than the truth ever could. Too many people believe that boundaries kill romance. They worry that saying no means rejection, that drawing a line will push someone away. So they bend, they accommodate, they abandon themselves in the name of love. But here's the truth. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's enmeshment. It's a tangle where one person shrinks so the other can stretch. Boundaries are not walls. They are guardrails. They keep the road safe. They prevent crashes. They make sure two people can move forward side by side without destroying each other in the process. When you set a boundary, you're not saying, I don't want you. You're saying, I want us to meet in a way that protects both of us. That's not distance. That's respect. Think about it. If you never rest, if you always give, if you silence your needs to keep the peace, resentment builds. And resentment is what truly kills passion, not honesty, not limits. Boundaries preserve desire because they preserve respect. When two people know where the lines are. They can relax. They can trust the space. They can risk being vulnerable without fear of being trampled. It's like tending a fire. Too much wood piled on carelessly smothers the flame. Too little air, and it suffocates. But with balance, the fire burns strong. Boundaries create that balance. They make room for passion to thrive without burning the house down. So stop fearing that your no will ruin love. The right person will honor your boundaries. The wrong person will resent them. Either way, you learn the truth faster. And the truth, though sometimes painful, is always safer than the illusion. Too many people stay in relationship because they feel they have to. They say, I've already invested so much. They need me. I can't disappoint my family. And little by little, obligation replaces desire. When you're there only out of duty, the spark fades. The honesty disappears. The relationship becomes a cage, not a connection. Obligation may keep you in place, but it does not keep you alive. Love was never meant to be a debt. It was meant to be a choice. Real love is not about staying because you have no other option. It's about choosing, again and again, to wake up beside someone because you want to, not because you're trapped. To work through conflict because the bond matters, not because you fear what others will think. To give care freely, not out of guilt, but out of genuine desire. That's why realism matters. Because when you remove the illusions, you can see what's really happening. Are we both choosing this? Or are we just enduring it? Love is healthiest when it is an act of freedom. When both people know they could walk away and still they stay. That's not weakness. That's strength. Because the bond isn't built on chains. It's built on commitment, on choice, on the daily decision to keep showing up. So ask yourself honestly, am I here out of fear or out of freedom? The answer will tell you everything about the health of your love. And if it's not freedom, then it's time to make a new choice. We've all heard the phrase, love conquers all. It sounds beautiful, but in practice, it can be a dangerous myth. Because love alone doesn't resolve deep differences. You can love someone deeply and still fight every day about money, about faith, about parenting, about the vision for the future. Affection doesn't erase misalignment. Attraction doesn't build shared values. And when compatibility is missing, love often turns into exhaustion. It feels like pushing a boulder uphill. Endless work. No steady ground. So hear me clearly. Love matters, yes, but compatibility determines whether that love can actually last. Compatibility isn't about liking all the same hobbies. It runs deeper than that. It's about values. Do you both see respect the same way? Do you both honor honesty? It's about goals. Do your visions for family, career, and growth move in the same direction or constantly pull you apart? It's about lifestyle. Can your daily rhythms coexist? Or does one person always have to shrink for the other to expand? When compatibility is present, love flows more freely. Conflicts still happen, but repair feels possible. The relationship feels like partnership, not survival. When compatibility is absent, love becomes a constant negotiation. Every joy is weighed down by friction. This doesn't mean you need perfection. It means you need alignment where it counts. So ask yourself honestly, do our values match? Do our futures align? Can we build together without breaking ourselves apart? Because love without compatibility can spark a story, but it rarely sustains a life. And realism says, choose someone whose presence feels like partnership, not just passion. That's the foundation that lets love endure. In too many relationships, harm happens. Words cut deep, promises break, trust gets bruised, and what follows is excuses. I was tired. You know how I get. It wasn't that big of a deal. Excuses smooth the surface, but they never mend the crack. Because healing doesn't come from pretending the wound was small. It comes from taking responsibility. Accountability is the difference between a relationship that repeats harm and one that grows from it. When someone refuses to own their actions, what they're really saying is, my comfort matters more than your pain, and that is not love. Accountability isn't just saying, sorry. It's showing change. It sounds like, I was wrong. I hurt you. I take responsibility. And then, it looks like behavior shifting, patterns breaking, effort showing, consistency proving. Without accountability, apologies are empty. With accountability, even deep ruptures can be repaired. Ask yourself, does this person own their mistakes? Do they make repairs when they cause harm? Or do they twist blame, minimize the impact, make you feel foolish for hurting? And also ask yourself, do you take accountability? Do you apologize with sincerity? Do you follow through on your promises? Because relationships thrive when both sides commit to responsibility. Accountability builds trust. It shows respect. It proves the bond is strong enough to hold the truth. And without it, there is no foundation, only illusion. So remember this. Accountability is not optional. It is non-negotiable. Because love without accountability isn't safe. And love without safety cannot last. Too many people think that being in love means being identical. Same opinions, same preferences, same outlook. But sameness isn't love. Sameness is control. Healthy love makes space for difference. Different tastes in music, different ways of unwinding, different backgrounds, different perspectives. The danger comes when difference is treated like threat. When one person says, "Be more like me, or I won't feel safe," that is not love. That is fear disguised as closeness. Real love says, "I can stay myself while letting you be yourself too." Because intimacy doesn't require the erasure of individuality. It requires respect. So how do you love fully without losing yourself? It begins with self-awareness. Know your values. Know your limits. Know what makes you feel alive. Then, as you enter relationship, you hold those things steady, not as a wall, but as a compass. This allows you to engage differences with curiosity instead of fear. Your partner prefers silence. You prefer conversation? That's not a crisis. That's an invitation to balance. Your partner comes from a different culture. You from another? That's not a threat. That's an opportunity for richness. But here's the key. Respecting difference cannot mean erasing yourself. If you abandon your voice, if you constantly shrink to fit, the relationship may survive, but you won't. The strongest love is built not on sameness, but on wholeness. Two people standing fully in themselves, choosing to meet in the middle. That kind of love doesn't suffocate. It strengthens. It doesn't erase. It expands. So remember, love doesn't mean sameness. It means respect. And respect allows both of you to stay whole. Love without honesty is like a house without air. It may stand for a while, but inside, everything suffocates. When you hide your feelings to keep the peace, when you swallow your disappointments to avoid conflict, when you lie by omission to protect an image, the relationship starves. Because intimacy isn't built on what's hidden. It's built on what's spoken. Realism means this. Love can't be healthy if it lives on half-truths. Yes, honesty can be uncomfortable. Yes, it can lead to hard conversations. But dishonesty, that will destroy trust quietly, slowly, completely. So hear me clearly. If you want real love, you must risk real truth. Now, honesty doesn't mean brutality. Too many people confuse just being honest with cruelty. Real honesty is paired with care. It tells the truth without tearing the other person down. It sounds like, "I felt hurt when this happened," not, "You always ruin everything." It sounds like, "I need more time for myself," not, "You're too demanding." Notice the difference. Both are truthful, but one invites repair. The other only invites defense. Honesty is not about venting every impulse. It is about revealing the real with clarity and respect. This is the realism of love, to be known as you are, and to allow the other to be known fully too. Anything less is performance, and performance can't sustain intimacy. So practice honesty, not reckless words, but careful truth. Because only when the air is clear can love breathe deeply and last. We've been sold a lie that real love should feel effortless. Movies show couples locked in passion, never arguing, never struggling, never working. But anyone who's been in love knows the truth. Effort is not a sign something is wrong. Effort is a sign you value what you have. When people expect ease forever, they give up the moment work begins. They say, if it's hard, it must not be right. But the reality is, all relationships require tending. Not constant strain, not endless sacrifice, but care, attention, repair. Love left unattended withers. So, if you expect love to last, expect to work. Think about the things you value most. Your craft, your health, your dreams. You invest time, energy, focus. You water them. You maintain them. Why would love be any different? Effort in love isn't drudgery. It's devotion. It's listening when you'd rather tune out. It's apologizing when pride burns. It's showing up with presence, again and again. Effort says, this matters. You matter. We matter. And here's the key. Effort is mutual. If one person is carrying all of it, that's imbalance, not partnership. Healthy love feels like two hands, working the same soil, planting, watering, pruning together. It may not always be glamorous. It may not always be easy. But it is what turns fleeting passion into enduring partnership. So drop the myth of effortless love. Embrace the truth of chosen effort. Because in love, effort is not a burden. It's the proof of care. And it's the practice that keeps love alive. As we close this hour, let's bring it all into focus. Real love is not illusion. It's not fantasy. It's not blind passion that ignores red flags and calls it destiny.